Hey, what's up, guys?
Hello.
Suds and Avi back for another production of Owlet Tournament.
Hey guys, yeah, what is going on? We are running Stage 4, Week 3 right now, so we are in the thick of it.
Yeah, and tonight's match is going to be Rinse and Shine versus Furious Unicorns.
Yes.
So, big match, both of these teams in the playoffs, so this is almost a little bit of a preview of what we can expect to see moving forward.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, no, a lot of the teams showing us exactly what they got throughout this tournament, so definitely going to be a pretty exciting game to watch these two higher-up teams go head-to-head, so I actually can't wait. I loved watching Rinse and Shine the other week, and I know I was able to cast for Furious Unicorns before as well, so loved the gameplay on both sides for these teams when they were playing separately, so going to be a real treat to watch both of them go head-to-head today.
Absolutely. If we go ahead and take a quick look at the standings, this is pretty much going to be the top 4 teams in each division here are going to the playoffs. It's pretty much locked in here, so now we're just playing for record and pride.
Yeah.
But as you can see, Furious Unicorns second in the Snowy division, 16-7, not too shabby.
Doing pretty well.
Sitting 4th in the overall league. Rinse and Shine, 13-10, just on the cusp,
Yes.
but they did land themselves a spot here in the playoffs thanks to their map differential. They're actually definitely above Oasis Esports at this point.
Oh yeah, no, we always say that, you know, even if it looks like you're going to lose the game, you know, you got to fight your hardest because those map points do count towards the end of it. So definitely excited to see these guys go against each other. So I think we're getting just about ready to start up. We're going to be starting here on Rialto today. Beautiful, lovely Rialto.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We see a lot of interesting strats here on Rialto. People like running the Pharah, the Hanzo.
They do.
We get a good amount of the Reinhardt, but you got to watch out for those boops. There's a
Ooh.
lot of canals floating around there looking to drown some people, I suppose.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Reinhardt can't swim in all that armor.
You know, it
and
would prove
even
very
Pharah
difficult.
can't swim with her rockets, so don't ask me how that one works out.
You know, we don't have to use all the logistics. Thankfully, Blizzard has not brought out a swim mechanic yet. So, and I do say yet because obviously they brought us a hamster piloting a robot ball. So swimming could just be a few years away here for Overwatch. So, you know, Avi's predictions, I think maybe we could start making that a thing.
Okay. Well, what? Oh, you mean for the game?
As
not
in, no,
for the
not
match.
for the league. No,
You
no.
don't
For
feel good about
Blizzard's
that one.
directions on Overwatch itself, absolutely.
Okay, I see. All right. Well, speaking of tonight's match, a couple of players to highlight here. We know Paper Monk has been huge on the main tank position, and Lumbo, another member of Rinse and Shine, very scary when he's on
Oh,
that Pharah.
yes.
Very scary on a lot of heroes, actually.
Right.
You do not want to get in a position where you are fighting with Lumbo.
In a small room, yeah, absolutely. I believe Lumbo pulled out some Junkrat as well, if I'm not mistaken. So on those explosive projectile heroes, very scary indeed. And as well, I believe Cyberspace pulled out some pretty nice Hanzo and Widow gameplay last time we casted, so pretty excited to see that as well. I know we have a handful of real precise snipers in this league.
We sure do. I believe. Yeah, I mean, I don't know who exactly. Oh, we actually have Cyberspace.
Yeah,
Is that who you were talking
I
about?
did.
I'm sorry.
I did say Cyberspace. You're fine.
I'm working. I'm also producing tonight, Ollie.
Yes.
We're working with the overlays, so
We're totally fine.
I'm not ignoring you. But on the other side of the field tonight, we've got Furious Unicorns, who Leoxicon and Vic7, I remember being big impact players for their respective team, for their team in their respective roles. So Vic7 playing a bunch of that support.
Yeah.
At the same time, Leoxicon sitting there in the off-tank role, or main tank role, I believe, for
Decent
him.
amount of Lucio as well, yeah, but definitely predominantly that off-tank role, so pretty interesting to see. We like to take a peek at you know, the playtime here for these accounts and try to maybe get a better...
That's why we make them keep them public.
Exactly.
For these games.
Yes.
So, yeah, I think tonight should be a pretty hype match. At least for the moment, it doesn't look like Rinse and Shine are gonna be running Lumbo here on Rialto.
Oh.
So, it is possible we don't see his Pharah come out there.
Oh, yeah, and it's completely possible. They want to let Lumbo take a quick break for this first match. You know, we do have 4 of them coming up, so it's entirely possible we'll see some of that Rocket Queen action coming out. So we'll definitely see what tonight holds for us.
Yeah, and hopefully it holds a good match, because as we said, very closely ranked teams. We should see some hype gameplay. It should be very close. I think Rinse and Shine have gotten exponentially better. We casted them a little bit in stage 1, I believe.
Yeah.
And since then, we've seen them grow and become a very scary team to be playing against. So really, really excited to see them go up against who is another one of the top teams in the league, second in the division. I mean, there's not a whole lot higher you can go.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so a big shout out to the respective coaches because I've definitely seen, like you were saying, with Rinse and Shine, there's been a good view of progress there. And what we did see the last time we casted for them was they have a much more cohesive feeling of cooperation and teamwork in terms of how they're approaching team fights. So I'd love to see more of that tonight. I know that they've got it in them, so I'd love to see that cooperation and teamwork break out here, because that does make a huge difference in between, you know, teams that, you know what they're doing and then teams that really go in for the kill and win. So
absolutely, especially with a lot of the heavy tank compositions we see, like those GOATS compositions, the 3-3. We see some other triple or quad tank compositions coming out lately. It's very important to be super aggressive when you're engaging these fights, because if you give the other team time to burn your characters down, get them low, you can't win those brawly fights. The advantage that you have is high sustained damage and very large health pools with a lot of healing.
Yeah, definitely. And we do see the GOATs coming out a lot recently, you know, with some of the changes in the heroes and just an overall meta change, honestly. So, yeah, I'd love to see them pulling out whatever they're comfortable with, but I know that we're going to see competent plays no matter what they do pull out here for us today. So, just about ready here. Really excited to see what they pull out on Rialto since we've released Wrecking Ball or Hammond for the use in Stage 4. We have seen some pretty interesting you know, plays here with him. He's a fantastic stall character that we've seen. I believe we actually saw a very, very impressive stall turnaround here on Rialto, actually, on a defense, where the Hammond came in as the cart was just about 5 meters away from the end and actually stalled and turned it around for the team. So with that full hero pool now, pretty interested to see what else they're going to be doing here, especially if GOATS is so prominent.
Yeah, and actually, Goats has been falling a little bit. It's still an effective composition, but with the advent of the Hammond and Sombra coming back into the meta a bit, Goats has been a bit less effective, and I've actually been seeing Hammond used extensively for stalling. Because he is so quick to get back to that point, and once he's there, he can kind of bat the enemy off the point, because as we know, Overwatch has that mechanic where if the enemy has more players on the point than the defenders, the defender respawns start to increase in time. So if you can keep them off the point, make sure that they don't have nearly as much of the numbers advantage there on the point, you're going to help out your team to get those respawns back and try to retake.
Right, yeah, a lot of mechanics to keep in mind, and we have seen people using Hammond to his fullest, keeping that in mind when they're trying to pull off these long stalls, they're trying to pull off, something that gives their team, like a quick second, a quick breather to come back in and really make a final fight to decide, the outcome of a match. So we're hopefully going to see some pretty smart plays here. Like I said, these two teams have shown us quite a bit so far, and I can't wait to see what they show us tonight, especially since we are so close to the playoffs. I think that they are going to be playing at their top game, hopefully, tonight.
I think, yeah, this is going to be a message-sending game. The only caveat to that is it's very possible that the coaches are having their teams hold back any kind of new, unique strats that they may have picked up. They tell, especially for these two teams, you got to tell them, look, we're in the playoffs. Let's not give anything away. But at the same time, go play your heart out. We can beat these guys.
Right. No, fantastic point. Yeah, if you have some real interesting strategies that you haven't shown yet, you definitely want to keep those in your back pocket for the playoffs when everybody is going to be pulling out all the stops, pulling all the aces from their sleeves. So an excellent point there. We may see just some good all-around gameplay, but maybe nothing terribly fancy here while they maybe save those plays for the playoffs here.
That's right. And it looks like we're still setting up, so we are going to have Draco Ball out here on the Torbjorn, getting himself taken out.
Oh, delightful.
There we go. We are in the hero assembling phase. So, yeah, Rialto, as we were saying, a lot of teams do like to try to make a high ground hold here, but I've seen in the past, it seems like the hold kind of around this second corner has been the effective one, because it allows you to keep an eye on this kind of alley flank over to the left of the screen here.
Right.
And that's a very strong flank if you are unable to keep watch on it, because you can get a Pharah come that way, a Tracer come that way. You can get, actually, we see a lot of Widows and Hanzos going over there just trying to pick off supports in the backline of those kind of forward holds. And if you aren't ready for that, you're going to have a little bit of trouble.
Right, yeah. With that flank being so close to the attacker spawn, you can absolutely dip in, get a few shots off his Widow, go back and change your hero even if you wanted to, and then rejoin that attack. So absolutely a great point. We have been seeing a lot of the holds here for the defenders start right around this corner. Some of them kind of post up in front of this building, but we might see a bit of that high ground gameplay that some of these teams are utilizing. So keeping an eye on the forward spawn, and then maybe on the side there, sometimes we'll have people over here on this high ground like Bomber, keeping an eye on the flank from this high ground positioning as well.
Yeah, and it does look like they're going to run the Orisa D.Va here, so I expect the Orisa to drop, or actually, I take that back. I expect the D.Va to be the one to drop down and contest the point, because she can come on back up.
Exactly, right.
Before she gets taken out. And we are going to have a quick pause here just before the game starts.
Yes.
So in the meantime, we'll talk a little bit more about these comps. As I said, Orisa, Diva's going to be your point contester, while Orisa can kind of stay up here, protect the team, and just lay down that long-range damage. We've also got Pharah and Widows, so a couple of long-range heroes here. They've got the Pharmacy. You're probably looking at a bit of a pick comp, looking to just get that initial kill so that their team can then steamroll the fight after that. On the other side, looks like we have a bit of a dive coming out with Leoxicon and Exceed running the Winston and D.Va. And then Flutio O's there on the Lucio, going to give them the speed boost. And we got the Sombra to get here in the backline and try to remove some abilities from some of these players. So we're going to go ahead and see this first attack as it comes out.
Yep, so right away we've got Furious Unicorns just pushing this cart along. Actually, they've gotten off the cart for right now. I do believe they're scoping out on this high ground exactly what Rinse and Shine is doing, which isn't a terrible idea. They're going to try to get this payload across the bridge first, I believe, but they are very aware that the Pharah is up and active over there on that flank side. So we've got tanks hopping up on this high ground right now, trying to get Paper Monk down there. However, Paper Monk using those Orisa abilities just to stay alive while the dive happens. So Cyberspace taking down Draco Vault and just diminishing Furious Unicorn's numbers by 2 now. So looks like they are, like you were saying, trying to get those key picks, make it a team advantage fight, and then kind of steamroll from there. So Big Green is forced to use that Resurrection on Bobby Smiles, but Bobby Smiles is able to get back in that mech. So we will see that being probably what is a good res here, a good tempo res in this moment.
Yeah, that's right, and that first fight, just as we were saying, the picks coming out on the side of Rinse and Shine allowed them to slow that down, and there goes Draco Ball early. Cyberspace popping off.
Again, we noted Cyberspace showing us some real accurate headshots, real good clicking here last time. So not in disappointing us today, and Lumbo on that Pharah, throwing those rockets around. So Furious Unicorns just kind of kept at bay at the moment, even though they do keep trying to contest this cart.
Yeah, that's right, and ultimates starting to come online for both teams. We're going to see some tank and support ultimates, as well as Lumbo's holding onto that barrage now.
That's a great point. So now the dive is coming in for Furious Unicorns after Bobby Smiles gets demexed. So we'll see if this actually garners anything. We have a Diva Bomb coming out, and it takes down 2 members and the Supercharger. Oh, that Pharah couldn't get away fast enough. So we do have Furious Unicorns up in this team fight right now. Paper Monk's getting surrounded while his support's trying to keep him up. Valkyrie comes out from Big Green. Is it going to be worth it? It looks like it might be. Exceed's actually demeched at this moment, so Furious Unicorns doesn't have their Diva in mech. So Cyberspace getting hunted by Draco Bolt, but those shots, they're not making it. However, taking down Bomber on the Zenyatta is going to be really good for Furious Unicorns. We've got the Diva Bomb coming out, and there we go! Bobby Smiles coming and getting Cornish and Exceed. So, I mean, this fight just keeps going back and forth, a bit of an ebb and flow. Quite a bit going on, however, Cyberspace takes down Draco, but Big Green is forced to use that Resurrection again. However, Lumbo returns it in kind, taking down Furious Unicorn's Lucio while they try to regroup.
Yeah, that's going to be the reset, and the Diva Bombs being the big points in that last fight.
Right.
Really well-placed ones from both Bobby Smiles and Exceed, got a couple of kills each. And now we've got Lumbo just trying to spam out the Somber. He knows she's looking to get behind them, but the Transcendence is up here on the side of Rinse and Shine, so that may give them a really good chance to weather any ultimates that come out, as long as they can get out before they UP. And there it is!
Yep, there we go. So the Oxycon jumps in on that Winston, trying to dive the supports in this back line, but it looks like that Rinse and Shine's going to respond here. Draco Blood actually takes down Cyberspace in that Widow battle, so we do have Furious Unicorns up 2 kills right now. They were able to take down Big Green as well, so Furious Unicorns taking down one of the supports of Rinse and Shine, and it looks like they're just going to start taking them down one by one. Now they are pushing this cart 4 on it right now, so 20 seconds left on this push. However, they're going to get fairly close to this first checkpoint, I believe, before they can get contested.
Yeah, and the whole key to that fight was getting the hack onto the Zenyatta before he could pop the Transcendence. That made sure that Furious Unicorns did not have, or sorry, Rinse and Shine did not have a chance to defend.
We've got the Diva Bomb coming out from Exceed. Paper Monk, no shield to be found. Bomber falls as well right behind him. A lot of ults coming out. Bobby Smiles responds with his Diva Bomb, and we're actually still in overtime. 0.54 meters left, but they're still being contested. Rinse and Shine isn't giving up without a fight here, and finally, Bobby Smiles and Lumbo fall. Even though they're in overtime, Furious Unicorns makes that play, and they get this first checkpoint.
I'm assuming Paper Monk must have had his shield burned there. I wasn't sure, but he definitely didn't have it up.
He definitely dropped it right before it.
So, a little bit unfortunate there for Rinse and Shine, but they not a lot of time for Furious Unicorns to try to get this second point.
That's a great point. So Vic7 just trying to cause some disruption here, while Furious Unicorns continues to try to get this payload moved. They're pushed up a little far here, but they are coming back to this cart now while Rinse and Shine regroups for this second part of the map.
We do have Bobby Smiles over onto the Zarya now, and now a flank coming in from Cyberspace and Lumbo, but Leoxicon is able to fight them off.
Yeah, Not before taking down Somber, however. So this attack's at a 5v6 right now. Just like you were saying, they're still running this pick comp. Get a couple key picks and then just take the rest out from there. You know, when you have that fight advantage, you can really, you know, make it work for you. So getting Liaxicon out of the building here. Let's see if they can take him down. Looks like not. Vix7 coming back for a bit of revenge, but is only really able to cause some disruption before he gets bullied away. And we do have the beat drop coming out on the side of Furious Unicorns while they're still trying to contest on this cart. However, Bobby Smiles really just putting on that pressure, shooting these grenades. Oh, and an EMP Diva Bomb combo comes out, taking out Big Green. Vix7 is able to take down Bomber in the midst of this chaos. So Furious Unicorns really tying this together, getting 4 kills, excuse me, while they're making this push. So it looks like they are going to have some free cart movement if they get on it. There we go. Draco Ball doing the Lord's work on this payload here.
Yeah, and that EMP Diva Bomb was super effective. That gets rid of all of those movement abilities. We saw it burn down Bobby Smiles' personal shield, and that just leaves them open to the insane damage coming out from Exceed's Diva Bomb.
Yep, Sombra's EMP is entirely useful, especially in those instances where you know you want to combo it with something like an ultimate that can be, you know, blocked, like a Riptide or a Diva Bomb. Even a Graviton Surge, if you do an EMP right before your Zarya's Graviton Surge, it hits a lot more people unguarded in that. So we've got Bobby Smiles pushing up here, trying to stay on this defense. We're looking like they've got 4 ultimates up on the side of Rinse and Shine, so I think they're going to try to play it slow enough to where they can try to burn down Furious Unicorns without using too many ults. And there we go. Some high energy, really throwing out these chunky grenades here. And again, just garnering this damage. I mean, Bobby Smiles, every time we go over to him, he's got anywhere between 60 and 80, you know, energy rolling. So really playing some good Zarya shields.
Yeah, and as you said, now we've got 5 ults up for Rinse and Shine. Not a lot to work with on the other side of the map, of the payload here.
And another good headshot from Cyberspace. Really just picking off these squishies one by one with these headshots.
Yeah, and now Paper Monk just going to defend this cart.
Yep.
He doesn't need much support here. He's just fighting a couple of squishies, so he's going to continue to hold it back.
What do you do when a Baby Diva and a Lucio are just shooting at you? And look at that. So Exceed does jump off the map to remech and regroup faster with Furious Unicorns. Liaxicon still pushing up, though, and they are moving this payload. So we do have the beat drop coming out here for Furious Unicorns yet again while they try to push forward past this chokehold. However, Paper Monk holding strong with his big rectangle shield. We've got a Coalescence coming out from Cornish, trying to, looks like, pressure these tanks away and keep their team up. So it's working in the meantime. This cart's finally moving from under the bridge. However, an EMP might cause some more disruption. So Vix7 dropping that EMP on the tanks. They have overtime ticking on this cart right now, so if they stay on this, they may have a chance to get this inside this final building. Liaxicon's Primal Rage is actually able to take out both the Widow and the Mercy, so Furious Unicorns working on, again, a bit of a team advantage. So we've got the rest of the team coming up from spawn now, going to try to make this final hold.
And they really need to touch the cart. They don't have much time. Paper Monk finally gets in range.
And finally, we got the Graviton Surge coming out with the Diva Bomb. Exceed taking down 2 members at once with that. Transcendence coming out from Bomber, trying to keep his Reinhardt alive on point. Unfortunately, it's not going to last for long, and Furious Unicorns have Rialto round 1.
Yeah, and Furious Unicorns winning fights they really shouldn't have there. They were we saw them use the beat drop a couple of times where they were already kind of backing out of a fight and they didn't use it to re-engage, they just kind of popped it. And then we saw them use it again just there at the end before all of their members were back and they were continuing to engage. But they were able to win that fight regardless. Rinse and Shine seemed very hesitant to actually use any of their ultimates there, and because of it, they allowed Furious Unicorns to push all the way to 3rd point.
Right, yeah, definitely a note of Rinse and Shine playing a little more passive there than I definitely think they should have. When you know that the enemy team is, you know, using their ultimates as they're getting them, when you see that Lucio use the beat drop when only 3 of the members are there, you have to take advantage of that, knowing that you can go in a little deeper, you can go in and use an ultimate, and it's not going to be nullified nullified by a support ultimate. So yeah, I'm not entirely certain why they were playing so passively there, but I can agree that it's probably going to be the reason that they lost that round.
Yeah, but here on the defense, we're going to keep these dive tanks for Leoxicon and Exceed. Draco Bolt staying on the Widow was, you know, going back and forth a little bit with Cyberspace, but it seemed to me Cyberspace was getting a little bit the better of him. Vic 7 staying on the Sombra, may be able to get a big hack as the enemy comes out of the gates, and we're going to actually have the Ana Lucio support duo.
Oh wow!
So
you don't see that a whole lot these days, but it's refreshing. Oh, excuse me, refreshing regardless.
That's right. Both of those characters actually just starting to come back into the meta, and I love to see it because especially Ana is a super high-skilled support. Oh.
Thank you, Cornish.
Also interested in other things.
So, Furious Unicorns on this high ground. We're going to have Cornish dropping down as Rinse and Shine pushes this cart, and Cyberspace across the map. Getting domed. Unfortunate for Cornish. However, Rinse and Shine looks like they are going to take advantage of this immediate pick. So they've got the cart rolling with three going on this cart right now. And Furious Unicorn still holding around that corner, but man, that initial pick really gave Rinse and Shine a bit of fuel.
Yeah, and that was really good to engage off of it. It was a support player, and that's the aggression that we wanted to see from Rinse and Shine last time. And now we're going to have Papermonk about halfway to his ultimate, just continuing to throw out these fire strikes and defend the cart.
Yeah, it looks like Papermonk is hacked for the moment. However, not enough members from Furious Unicorns really here to capitalize on it. Lumbo taking down Fludio. Cyberspace taking Vic out as well. Papermonk with the double fire strike kill on Baby Diva and Ana. Hello? Papermonk, let's talk. Get me some Reinhardt lessons, please, and thank you. We have Rinse and Shine taking this first checkpoint here in very good time. They have 5 minutes on the clock right now when they did force Furious Unicorns to go into overtime when they brought this checkpoint.
Yeah, and Furious Unicorns there were kind of staggering onto the point for the last half of that payload push, which allowed Papermonk and his team to just absorb that space and take them out one by one because they didn't have a full team to engage there.
Right, great point. So we've got Papermonk out here in front, you know, really being aggressive, keeping these tanks in line. Leoxicon trying to dive this back line, but the Nano Boost comes out onto Papermonk while the Diva and Winston are trying to take down Lucio Ana, but it doesn't matter. Speed Drop's coming out from Lucio, and we've got a grenade coming out from Ana, so a lot of this damage mitigation really working. Lumbo getting that double kill with the rocket barrage. Rinse and Shine is just now pushing this payload for free while the rest of the team cleans up.
Yeah.
And we've got Bobby Smiles pushing forward to take down Draco Ball. Maybe even get a really good stagger.
Now we are going to see Exceed come in to defend Draco Ball here, and now he's going to try to retake a little bit of the space for his team.
Bobby was up a little too far without not enough support from his team. But Papermonk helping to clean up these tanks that are still diving. He falls, however, but Exceed gets nanoed as he's demeched, so unfortunately Cornish did use that nano boost in vain. That was an interesting animation. Did you catch that?
I did see that.
Okay, perfect.
You see that a lot with Ana's just healing Divas as they get popped out of mech, and the health comes back, but they're still out. But in that case, it was a nano boost, so he got healed to full health.
Oh, yeah.
And then the Diva still got popped out. But Vic 7 looking for the EMP here, his team ready to capitalize.
Yeah, gets a hack off on the Zarya and translocates back since it looks like it was a bit messy there. So Bobby Smiles helping his team push up forward here. Papermonk helping to take care of the tanks that are in the back line, and that was a very, very precarious boop situation. However, Bobby Smiles is now separated from the team, and Draco Ball with teammates is able to take him down. Cyberspace returning the favor, however, Cornish falls to that headshot, but Draco Ball gets Cyberspace right back. I think Rinse and Shine is getting a regroup running right at this moment.
Yeah, they had a little bit of a rough engage there. Furious Unicorns was definitely ready for them and did a really good job to dive on them with the Leoxicon Exceed and Vic 7 all at the same time, just really harassing that backline and forcing them to take it back off. But here comes out the Diva Bomb.
Oh, and the Diva Bomb in the middle! And the EMP combo! Taking down 2 supports and 2 tanks! Goodness gracious! Woo! So, Exceed, fantastic. You and Vic7 comboed together, taking down 4 members of Rinse and Shine at the same exact moment. And that's what we're talking about. That EMP really coming out to combo and making sure that the enemy team can't shield themselves from any of that burst damage. I mean, it is a very good move on their part. So, we've got 2 minutes left on the clock for Rinse and Shine to get this to the second checkpoint.
And moving into this next fight, both tank ults and both support ults up for Rinse and Shine, as well as that rocket barrage. So they just have to make these land. They are not going to have any EMP to contest with them. There's the Earth Shatter.
Yep, Paper Monk busts out the Earth Shatter. It doesn't look like he's able to really get anybody. We've got a Primal Rage coming out from the Oxyconn as well in the middle of this. Bomber dropping his Lucio beat drop in the middle of this team fight, trying to help his team stay alive. And we've got, Cornish fall into a nice direct rocket hit. Lumbo really just pumping in this damage, getting Exceed out of mech and pushing this backline back. Cyberspace, 3 headshots, 1, 2, 3, Cyberspace coming in, knocking these people down like they're dominoes. I mean, now Rinse and Shine's got the ball rolling. They're moving towards the second checkpoint, and Furious Unicorns is forced to regroup. Oh, but Leoxicon, before I can talk, 2.59 meters away, Leoxicon actually jumps in the back line, and Vic7 gets a hack off on the Paper Monk. So we'll see if this does anything for the contest. Paper Monk's asleep while Diva's got this nano boost. So, unfortunately, however, even though they made a valiant effort to make a cheeky little defense here, Rinse and Shine is still able to get to this second checkpoint in the midst of that team fight. And now they're up 2 kills while Furious Unicorns is working with a 4v6 at the moment.
That's right, ult economy still in Rinse and Shine's favor here.
Oh, and that's a really bad stagger for Furious Unicorns for Sombra.
If they can remember to stay on the payload, that should give them plenty of time to get it up to this last corner.
Right.
And Exceed has the Diva Bomb. Vic7 gonna try to build up this EMP shortly, but if these tank ults can be landed from Rinse and Shine, they've got a good chance of just pushing this straight in.
Yeah, no, excellent point here. So we've got the teams re-engaging a little bit. Leoxicon is able to charge Paper Monk down here in the middle, so Furious Unicorns now working a 6v5. We'll see how they hold here with a minute and a half left on the clock. It is looking like you know, 2 final fights perhaps, depending on how long this gets drawn out. So Cyberspace coming in with 2, 3 headshots again! Cyberspace, oh baby, it's a triple! And I mean, Vic7 coming in, trying to take Lumbo out, but I mean, the rest of his teams just fall into this damage. Fludio is finally taking down the menace that is Cyberspace, but I don't know if it's in enough time. We got the beat drop, I believe on both sides coming out. So both Lucios dropping their beat drops. And again, an EMP Diva Bomb combo. However, this one doesn't grab anybody. And it looks like 45 seconds left on the clock. We're going to see a pretty interesting dynamic here. We've got Rinse and Shine and 4 ultimates in the queue. And Furious Unicorn's got 2 up right now. But Draco Bolt getting that headshot on Cyberspace right now is going to put Rinse and Shine in a bit of an awkward position for this final team fight.
You're absolutely right, and Rinse and Shine just kind of staggering their way in there. Didn't get a good regroup before that last team fight. Now we are going to see Draco Bolt pop the Widow sight, so they are able to see Rinse and Shine, and Vic7 gets the big hack off.
All right, so we've got Lumbo comboing with the Zarya grab. However, she does get murdered by Draco Ball right in the middle. Cyberspace taking down Exceed after she's demexed. So now we've got Rinse and Shine up 4 kills. Both supports down, Sombra's down. We've got Exceed switching on over to Brigitte, trying to stall a little bit here on point. The rest of Rinse and Shine up front and center while the rest of Furious Unicorns tries to regroup desperately in overtime. So we've got those sights coming out from Cyberspace, a Moira switch and a Bastion switch as well from Furious Unicorns. They really want this stall, and we've got a bit of a crazy mess going on, but Exceed doing a bit of damage and healing here on Brigitte. Already 50% to her ultimate. That is insane. We've got both of the supports here. Actually, 3 supports on the side of Furious Unicorns. Lumbo made the switch on over to Reaper to try to get this massive close-range damage in. A beat drop from Bomber might actually give Rinse and Shine the advantage they need here, but Fludio is responsible with his own, and Furious Unicorns gets Rinse and Shine off the point in overtime.
Yeah, really great stall switches coming in from Furious Unicorns.
I mean, look at that, right? May, Brigitte, Moira, Bastion.
Yeah, and of course, play of the game is going to go to Exceed for one of these mini Diva Bombs that we saw take out.
Ooh, along the ground. That's got to be rough. And the timing on that EMP. It's, oh, that POV was perfect. And there we go. A nice little emote. Cherry on top. Thank you.
Yeah, really great play coming out from both teams there, but Furious Unicorns just taking the cake there.
Right, yeah. Again, you know, we did say before this that we were hoping to see some pretty same level play here, and you know, we saw great plays on both sides, you know, when they were attacking, defending, what have you. But it just fantastic communication. Again, we've said that they've improved upon so much, a lot of these teams in this tournament, you know, getting that cooperation, that cohesion as a team. And I mean, you're seeing these ultimate combos coming out and, you know, getting 3-4 people at once. Like, that is a good sign that this team is talking to each other in the middle of these team fights and really working together to make things happen when it needs to.
Yeah, there's clearly communication coming out from Furious Unicorns. We are seeing them hit those huge ult combos, as you said, but we're also seeing some breakdowns of communication. As we discussed, like, they were winning those fights, but they were kind of engaging all scattered, and they weren't necessarily overtime fights where that was totally necessary. And unfortunately, just some mistakes from Rinse and Shine allowed them to take those. But on the side of Rinse and Shine, while they had some scattered fights of their own, Cyberspace was stepping up, getting several triple kills on the Widowmaker, really just opening that up for his team to try to push in and finish out those points. And it worked for a little while, but after some period of time, someone else is going to have to step up as well.
Right. No, I mean, great individual plays as well. You're completely correct. You know, seeing Lumbo tossing out a lot of that damage on Pharah, and we even saw some decent Reaper play there at the very end. You know, and it's just, it's crazy to see these players just popping off in the middle of these team fights, you know, getting triple kills. So, definitely some interesting gameplay. You know, we aren't running out of things to spectate and talk about, so these teams are giving us quite a bit to chew on. But yeah, excited to see what they're going to be doing here on Temple of Anubis. You know, we see a lot of this Widow and Pharah coming out from you know, these teams, and Reaper even. So I'm sure we're going to see those three characters along with Ana. I'm assuming here on Temple of Anubis. So interested to see if we're going to see maybe some more Orisa, maybe Roadhog perhaps.
Yeah.
You see Roadhog here on defense sometimes. So excited to see what kind of strategies they have.
Likely some more Sombra.
Yeah, yeah.
Before we dive totally into that, I actually would like to touch on Leoxicon quickly.
Sure.
Running the Winston for most of that map. Winston a little bit out of favor right now as far as the meta goes, but being used to great effect there. His team was doing a great job of supporting him. The Sombra was waiting for him in the back lines for his jumps to come in. Exceed following up, and then they just allowed Draco Bolt so much space to sit back in his own back line, picking off those players that were getting taken low by the diving section of the team.
Right, yeah, I'd have to agree. A few times I did notice, you know, some really well-placed bubbles coming out from Leoxicon, and as well, you know, whenever I would see, you know, that Winston leap into that backline, you know, Exceed was almost always right behind, you know, Diva Matrixing and, you know, pumping in some damage with those missiles as well, you know, focusing these targets down. So, you know, I'd love to maybe retouch on some of these later, because again, like, you know, we are seeing these tanks dive the back line, and I'd love to see the cooperation and some of the placement on that to see exactly how they're doing that together. But
yeah, and at the same time, for that third point defense, we saw him make the swap onto the Reinhardt, and at that point, to be honest, he was outclassing Paper Monk on the hero. He was getting shatters around shields. He was charging Paper Monk more than once. I saw a charge lead to a kill onto Paper Monk's Reinhardt.
Nice,
so,
nice.
Leoxicon looking very good there in that main tank slot.
Yeah, no, perfect. It's great to see people very comfortable in that role that they know that they're going to be here for, and it's great always to see these players flexing over to different heroes for whatever's needed of them. So, getting set up here, we'll be heading to Temple of Anubis pretty soon, I believe. I think we're just waiting on the good to go from both teams, but. Yeah, I see the chat is enjoying this game as well. Hello, chat. Great to see you guys again. Definitely quite a few things going on, but
Quite a few familiar faces over there.
yes, definitely. So thank you everybody who showed up today. I'm pretty excited for all you guys to be watching this with us because again, I doubt that we're going to be bored these next 3 maps.
Yeah, that last one was extremely close. Both teams trying to make that overtime push into the 3rd point. Unfortunately, only one of them was able to actually get it. But
Right.
moving on to Temple of Anubis, this is a map that a lot of times you either see teams push it all the way through several times or not get a tick on 2nd point. So it could absolutely go either way.
Yeah, this could be a quick game or the longest map, that we will have tonight. Definitely a reason this is considered Temple of Draw Nubis sometimes.
Yeah, we've seen it ourselves.
Yeah.
But,
however, we've still got 2 maps after that, so even if it somehow ends in a draw, we'll be ready for some
all
more.
that means that is that these teams are very closely
Yes,
matched.
exactly, and that means that we were correct.
As usual.
As usual. Not like we've been on recording being completely incorrect or anything.
No, never. Not even once. So, it does look like we are just about ready to hop into this game. And as we were discussing, I actually do want to continue to see this Sombra because, who is it? Vic7 on the Sombra has been doing a really good job of getting into those backlines and just causing frustration for the enemy team.
Yeah, definitely with the patch that Sombra received, it is far more, based on getting reconnaissance and disruption versus, maybe DPSing down the people that you're catching off guard. Obviously, if you can, get that new spread tier advantage and just click that head, hitbox as much as you can, that's great too. But she has a much more pliable game style when she's able to be invisible as long as she wants to be. It gives her the control to move when she and her team are ready. So, like you said, I'd love to see more Sombra. It's interesting to see exactly how she's played. When you make that decision on which character to disrupt for that team fight, it can make a huge difference, especially, things like if you hack a Rhine as your D.Va's throwing out her bomb, that's a huge portion of damage mitigation that's just missing now because you've taken away his ability to hold up a shield. So very exciting to see her come back into the meta.
You're absolutely right, and now we're going to see Furious Unicorns now defending first, starting to set up. We're going to get Draco Balt on the Junkrat, who is very popular on this map, allows you to basically spam out an area with his grenades and almost force the enemy team to choose the other one. So you can almost control their pathing with a single hero there. At the same time, Vic7 gonna run that Widowmaker. So a little bit of a role swap there, but we will also have the Orisa and D.Va composition. So this is a composition that is typically used if you want to hold on high ground above the point so that you can allow D.Va to go down and contest while the Orisa can keep her position and not have to take the long amount of time it would take her to get back there. But here it looks like they just want to use Exceed to kind of harass and possibly shut down Lumbo on the Pharah.
Right, excellent point here. So we are going to see Rinse and Shine just kind of peeking in cyberspace, actually already getting a kill onto Vic7. So Rinse and Shine immediately making this a 6v5. So we'll see what happens here. Cyberspace looking for some more kills out here while the rest of the team goes into engage. They want to try to use this advantage. However, Exceed does get Paper Milk out of the fight, but Rinse and Shine does have this spawn advantage. I believe Vic7 will be coming back right about now. So we'll see how they're going to handle this situation.
Yeah, and unfortunately, losing your main tank that early is going to just kill the push, but they're going to have another shot here. We'll see if Cyberspace can disembark.
And just like D.Va's meant to, Cyberspace is getting bullied right off of that high ground. None of that damage is going through, and eventually Exceed gives her a big ol' whap on the forehead. And I think Rinse and Shine's going to want to try to... Oh, no, I mistaken. They've already moved up behind the team on the high ground here since they know that they really only have that D.Va to contest. So they're going to be kind of waiting here in the back line, really causing some disruption with these Pharah rockets, and trying to make their claim while they wait for Cyberspace to come back.
That's right, and they did a really good job to take this position as long as they can get Paper Monk and Cyberspace to be able to join up with them, they're going to be in really good position to take this point.
Good eye there for Phoenix. Phoenix actually disrupting Junkrat in the middle of the air. Bomber and Lumbo getting 2 kills for their team right away. Even though we've got a Diva Bomb coming out from Exceed, it doesn't take anybody down. Cyberspace responds by headshotting Draco Ball. Lumbo taking out Cornish. So Furious Unicorns, you know, 1 by 1 win down. Rinse and Shine's got this first point.
Yeah, really good engage by them. Getting that high ground positioning is exactly what you want. As long as the enemy team can't dive you, which obviously Leoxicon can't dive on the Orisa, you're going to be in really good position to be able to drop down onto that point and really just control the space.
Right, oh! And, ooh, a quick peek. Cyberspace even hesitated, knowing Vic 7 was probably looking down that corridor, but Vic was ready for him. So, Rinse and Shine, even though they did get a decent stagger and Exceed, it looks like they are going to have to try to wait for Cyberspace to regroup if they want a full 6v6.
Right, Leoxicon's going to jump onto the backline here.
See, yeah, both supports getting harassed here. However, that Farah damage is crazy. And with that, we've got a trade here. Both of the Winstons going down here for both teams. So Lumbo popping up that barrage and is able to take down both Draco Bolt and Cornish. Big Green rezzing Paper Monk in the middle. Phoenix and Cyberspace also taking down the Diva. So Rinse and Shine really trying to make this aggressive push to make Anubis happen. So we've got the Primal Rage and the Transcendence coming onto the side of Rinse and Shine. They are looking at almost getting this first tick here. And there we go. First hit for Rinse and Shine. Well, they got 1 member on. Furious Unicorns, however, coming back with that spawn advantage. They are finally responding with some ults here themselves. Exceed's gonna pop that Diva Bomb, but it's not gonna really get anybody. Phoenix gets Exceed out of mech as well. Lumbo coming back on Genji, getting Leoxicon out of there, and looks like Furious Unicorns is cleaned up. However, Rinse and Shine did get themselves a single tick.
Yeah, that tick is absolutely worth it. If you can get a tick every push, you're gonna be doing just fine on these on these assault maps. So now Draco Bolt moved over to the McCree, Vic 7 on the Sombra, and we're going to see Exceed get taken down here early as Rinse and Shine begin to make their push in.
No, excellent analysis here. So we do have a couple of swaps, but I do believe that these guys know exactly what they're doing. They're responding to a bit of some of the tactics that have been coming out from Rinse and Shine. So they're trying to really keep Cyberspace out of you know, a good range to kill everybody. And there we go, Exceed and Draco Ball really harassing Cyberspace until he's got no choice but to drop down and be overwhelmed.
Yeah, and now they're down 1, but it looks like Rinse and Shine want to continue to engage this. Leoxicon able to get back into the backline.
Yep, and we do have Draco Ball and Exceed using their ultimates. So we got Deadeye and Diva Bomb coming out. They both get kills, so Rinse and Shine is looking like they probably want to regroup here, so they can fight a solid 6 versus 6.
Yeah, Rinse and Shine has been a little bit slow to regroup this game so far. They are kind of waiting until everyone is dead instead of realizing when these fights are lost. But now Lumbo on the Genji is going to have this Dragon Blade.
Right, and they do have 3 minutes left on the clock. Almost 4 ultimates in their kit. Cyberspace gets Draco Ball with a nice clean headshot. So Rinse and Shine out of the advantage right now, and it looks like they are going to try to push this, knowing that the tanks are actually out by main. Phoenix is gonna throw that Diva Bomb out. Lumbo using the Dragon Blade. Cornish falls to that. However, Draco Ball responds with that 6-shooter. And all we have right now is Exceed on point. So Rinse and Shine up in these kills. Vic 7 popping out the EMP, as well as Flutio was using that beat drop. So we've got a bit of sustain here, a bit of a stall. However, second tick has been reached by Rinse and Shine, and with Paper Monk popping this Primal Rage, it looks like they are going to start making some more headway here. Phoenix is out of mech, however, for Rinse and Shine, and Bomber fell as well. So Rinse and Shine just lost 2 members, and it looks like they are retreating at this moment.
Yeah,
Cyberspace, yep, get caught out. Yeah, unfortunate.
But overall, another successful push for Rinse and Shine. You really can just chip away at this point to become successful, because it's so hard to cap these. The enemy has such a large spawn advantage on you, so as long as they can cap this with some time left in their bank, they're going to be sitting pretty moving into their defensive range.
And I imagine that's exactly what they're talking about, you know, making sure that as long as they have coordinated team efforts, they don't have to get the entire point right away. but getting those ticks will help you in the end. So again, the team's engaged here right on point. We've got Cyberspace flinging these arrows around, probably looking for a good point to toss out this Dragon Strike that won't be eaten by the D.Va. So again, we've got, you know, Lucio beat drop coming out for Rinse and Shines. We'll see if they'll take advantage of this in this team fight. But Liaxicon really controlling exactly where Rinse and Shine's at with this Primal Rage, pushing them around, making sure they can't get to their backline, get to their DPS. And again, Furious Unicorns just getting a key picks here and there, picking apart Rinse and Shine one by one. And finally, Rinse and Shine is forced to give up this push here.
And they're gonna stand with Phoenix for a little
Phoenix! And finally Phoenix falls, but you're right. It was a fairly big stall, as well as Cyberspace falling with Phoenix. Those are some pretty big staggers. 40 seconds in the clock for Rinse and Shine to push this and hopefully get this last tick.
Yeah, Rinse and Shine unfortunately used both of their support ults last fight, so they aren't going to have anything to combat the Deadeye from Draco Bald. Fluidio's has the sound barrier, might be enough to stop one of the Shimada Brother ultimates, but I don't know that it's going to be enough to stop both if they can make them land.
Yep, that's a great point. If they can both activate them at about the same time and focus the same targets, that's quite a bit of damage coming in from both of the Shimada Brothers. So we've got a Beat Drop and a Dragon Strike coming out. So Furious Unicorns protected by the Beat Drop, while the Dragon Strike kind of zones the team off. We've got, again, a big, huge team fight coming out on point. Lumbo using the Dragon Blade, trying to focus down these supports, and he is able to take down Fluidio's. Cornish falls as well to Cyberspace, so no supports right now on the side of Furious Unicorns. D.Va Bomb comes out, Big Green uses that res on Cyberspace, so Rinse and Shine's got the numbers advantage here on point, but they're not giving up yet. Liaxicon using this Primal Rage to try to get back on point, but Rinse and Shine keeping him off just long enough to get all three. Sorry, Lucio, buddy, that was funnier in slow motion.
But yeah,
wow.
Really good push by Rinse and Shine. They did basically exactly what we said they needed to do.
Yeah.
They used the Dragon Strike to not even bait out the beat. To be honest, Fluidio's just kind of threw it out there for him. And then we saw the Dragon Strike come out from Cyberspace, and Lumbo followed it up with the very important picks onto the supports with that Dragon Blade.
Right.
And then really good job by, I believe it's Phoenix, to completely negate Draco Balt's Deadeye. He got in front of it with the D.Va Matrix. The Matrix ran out, and he just took those shots to the face. But that's what you got to do sometimes as a tank player.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, I've seen plenty of really, really intuitive tanks. I mean, taking like Rhine charges and, you know, taking all the D.Va missiles for their squishies. I mean, that's exactly what you're supposed to do. You are damage mitigation at its purest form. So really, really seeing that these players understand exactly how their roles fit into the team comp. And I mean, again, you know, some great fights coming out. You know, nothing was over too soon. I really didn't know who was going to take that. You know, Furious Unicorns did put up a good defense there, so I'm excited to see what they're gonna pull out here on this attack. Farah, you gotta be careful, sweetheart. Those rockets are dangerous.
Yeah, the rocket jumping sounds dangerous, doesn't it, Farah?
This isn't Team Fortress 2. It doesn't give you that advantage, but we may see Vic actually pulling out this Sombra on the attack. We did see Vic pulling out some great Sombra plays on Rialto, so I'm assuming we will see some fantastic technique here on Anubis as well.
We are going to get the Bastion Orisa defense up here.
You particularly like this set,
I believe. I like it okay. It needs a little bit better backup plan. Once this defense is broken, you're completely hung out to dry. And now, Big 7 running around the back here is going to try to look for those big hacks.
Yep, so we'll see exactly what Vic does here. And again, like I said, Sombra really being able to control when she's no longer invisible really does a lot for her character. So trying to bait down these tanks to the point, and unfortunately Cyberspace and the rest of the team is ready to respond. They try to jump onto this high ground to get them off, but the overwhelming damage of the Bastion and Orisa with that Mercy powering up is just, it is insane.
Yeah, Lumbo delivering a lot of damage. I do like that they've got Phoenix doing the job of contesting this point so that none of these characters that aren't going to be able to get back up to the high ground have to do it. So moving forward, they're gonna have the Bastion ult for Lumbo here very shortly, which, honestly, if nothing else, could be used to get him back onto the high ground.
No, absolutely.
I mean,
that's a great point.
That's probably not the way you want to use it here.
No,
but
however,
that's an option.
It is a use of it. That's completely
But
correct.
no ultimates really getting close on the side of Furious Unicorns as they just kind of jumped in and lost their lives in that last fight.
Right, no, and it is important to keep an eye on that. While they are trying to make these contests here, we do have Lumbo popping out this Bastion ult already from the high ground. He doesn't even move from the high ground. He's got 2 kills, both supports down for Furious Unicorns, so even in the midst of this attack, they're not getting any heals. So they're on point now. They're just going to set up again back in this corner with the Orisa shield. Lumbo's just pouring this damage out onto these tanks, these DPS. You can't stop the Bastion when he's behind a shield. So, I mean, we've got Rinse and Shine really just taking this composition that they've made, and, I mean, they're adapting it to the team fight itself. You know, coming to this lower ground, posting up in a corner where Bastion can't really get flanked except by the Sombra. So, and again, as I'm talking, Vic maybe coming out, getting some hacks off, but just kind of causing disruption at this point. But Phoenix kind of scouting out, seeing if he can figure out where that translocator's at. And now we've got the team diving on this backline. So Furious Unicorns popping that Winston ult, and the EMP along with a Dragon Blade instantly gets Phoenix out of mech. We've got Lumbo and Phoenix both falling now, so quite a few things going on. Big Green's able to get the res off in the middle of this chaos. Coalescence from Cornish keeping the rest of the team up while they continue this team fight. Furious Unicorns is up in this team fight, so all they have to do is take down... Oh, no, they did it. That's everybody.
That's it. So,
I thought Phoenix was still up, forgive me.
Once they got knocked off the high ground, that was a good backup plan. I'll give them that. A good second position to hold that. But once the ults start to come online for Furious Unicorns, it's very difficult to kind of hold in a static position like that.
Yeah.
And now
Great
they're going
point.
for the
And
snowball.
there's the Diva Bomb coming out here. Yeah, they did. They were able to stagger cyberspace pretty badly. So Cornish able to take down Big Green right away in the middle of this team fight. So losing your Mercy at the beginning of the team fight, as well as your Zenyatta, it's going to be huge for Furious Unicorns if they can make this work. So we've got 2 kills coming out from Furious Unicorns, and looks like 4 coming out from Rinse and Shine. So at the moment, this defense is holding strong, but they are still contesting. But it looks like Lucio is going to try to make it out with his life while Furious Unicorns regroups.
Yeah, and the key there was Exceed kind of missing on that Diva Bomb. You needed at least 1 kill out of that one to initiate this snowball onto second point, but they didn't get it. And now Paper Monk, holding the only ultimate here on the field, is going to have that supercharger, which could give his team what they need to hold off this next push.
Right, yeah, great point, especially with the Farah Junkrat. That damage is going to be absolutely insane. So again, we've got the team fight breaking out here on point. Leoxicon is able to get to Bomber in the middle of all this. We got the Rift Tower coming out from Lumbo, taking out Exceed in the middle of it all. So Furious Unicorns, with this re-engage, unfortunately, they are forced back yet again.
Yeah, and that was great by Lumbo to build up that Rift Tire so quickly.
Right.
But now they're going to be dealing with possibly a barrier Dragon Blade EMP combo coming in here, and somebody actually, okay, Big
Sombra.
7 just screwing with the point, making me look.
Yeah.
But Big Green does have the Valkyrie. If she's able to stay out of the EMP, she should be able to pop that and try to keep her team alive.
Right, and it looks like we do have Cornish switching over to Ana right now, so they have 3 minutes on the clock. Any switches they make right now, probably, you know, worth it, especially if they can build these ultimates and if they want to use a different tactic. Cyberspace just creeps up on Furious Unicorns, however, they respond just fast enough with the Deflect and the Dema Matrix, but that was like watching a horror movie. Woo!
Yeah, I can't believe Cyberspace survived that, to be honest, and now he's just going to go to spawn and change heroes.
Yeah, I mean, and maybe that was the plan all along. See if you can get a cheeky kill with your you know, barrage and then switch to whoever you need to. And we've got the Reaper coming out. I knew we were going to see Reaper from one of these teams coming out on the defense. He's just so great on Temple of Anubis. He can hide basically anywhere, you know, teleport up to the high ground to contest. So, again, fight on point. Leoxicon really doing that work, diving those supports in this backline. A Draco Ball using that Dragon Blade to take down Lumbo. So that huge damage is gone as well for Rinse and Shine. So Furious Unicorn really making work. The Primal Rage comes out. He's pushing all of these people back to their spawn room. And Phoenix stalling a bit with the Diva Bomb on point, and Bomber coming out with the Transcendence. We've got the Riptire. Rinse and Shine just blew every single one of their ultimates they had on standby. And Seed returns it. Bomber going down to that Diva Bomb. So Furious Unicorns is up a few kills. They may be able to take this here. They've got one tick already on point. Vic 7 gets Phoenix out of mech. Draco Ball finishes him off. Cyberspace is able to take down. Oh, and here we go! Cyberspace building up that Death Blossom, taking down both Exceed and Flutio-Os, and Lumbo coming in to finish off Draco Ball. They got a tick, but Furious Unicorns has been stopped on this attack right now.
Yeah, and really great stall coming out from Rinse and Shine, touching point one at a time, making sure that they gave as much time for a group up as possible. And Cyberspace building up that Reaper ult extremely quickly just by pumping shots into Leoxicon and Exceed on those big tanky heroes. And now, unfortunately, ults blown on both sides, and the Furious Unicorns is going to be up in the economy here very shortly.
Right, and yet again, Leoxicon hopping in and trying to get this backline, but Lumbo's ready for him. However, Draco Ball's got his Dragon Blade out with the Nano Boost. We'll see if he's able to finish anybody off. Unfortunately, these supports of these tanks are coming in to help each other out. So, Furious Unicorns, even though they were able to use the Nano Boost and the Genji Blade, they are going to have to retreat again. And they've got 40 seconds on the clock. They really need to be careful with how they approach this final team fight, because they're going to have one team fight left with these spawns.
That was an old combo you may have wanted to save for this last fight.
Yeah.
But they will have the EMP, they will have the sound barrier, and probably only the Riptide are going to be available early in the fight here for Rinse and Shine. And they're just going to engage with the sound barrier.
So here we go. EMP response to that beat drop. We've got the teams just engaging again here on point. However, Rinse and Shine getting pushed back with this Diva Bomb coming out. I mean, we've just got these tanks taking care of the backline. Cyberspace coming out. He is hacked, so he can't actually go raid for him. But it doesn't matter. He's just using these shotguns. And again, a Death Blossom comes out. What is going on? Lumbo and Cyberspace are these ult masters for Rinse and Shine. I mean, ults in 2 minutes. That's crazy.
Yeah, less than that.
Yeah.
Probably, you know, close to a minute there for the Reaper ult there for Cyberspace.
Right.
And you're right. They are he and Lumbo are coming out clutch for their team. Their tanks are getting pushed around a little bit, not having the best game we've seen them play, but Cyberspace and Lumbo really stepping up to make sure that their team has what they need to win. And good reflect there from Draco Ball.
That was a very intuitive reflection. Yes. But again, you know, some great plays from both sides, and it definitely was not a one-off. We didn't get Temple of Draw Anubis this time. You know, which
I'm okay with that.
Which I was gonna say I'm completely fine with. It's great to see these teams pulling out some interesting combinations. Again, like we said, we did see Bastion Orisa play. They were able to kind of work with the response from the attackers. However, in the end, a lot of the disruption and a lot of the, I am assuming, team communication eventually took down. And can we really quickly, can we talk about Leoxicon? I mean, when I see Leoxicon on that kill feed, it is almost always on the supports. I mean, really just doing the work that the dive is supposed to do. I'm seeing him jump into that backline, disrupt what's going on, take down the Zen or that Mercy right away, and, you know, really get his team in a much better position for that team fight right off the bat.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, we were talking about Leoxicon after Rialto, just doing a really great job of playing just quality main tank play. And that's what you want to see from your main tank, weirdly enough. But I guess what it comes down to is, unfortunately, the DPS for Rinse and Shine just shining a little bit more here, possibly getting a little bit more support. Leoxicon doing great for himself, but I don't know how much space he's making for Vic 7 and Draco Ball to get their jobs done. Because main tanking isn't always about the kills. I love seeing it. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But sometimes you have to forego that final little bit of damage in order to set up your DPS to actually win the fight.
Right, and that's an excellent counterpoint, you know, talking about how your role in the team is defined. So yeah, you've got an excellent point there. How even if you do want to go in and get that really fantastic like Rhine charge, or you want to jump in as Winston and kill all the supports, you have a fantastic point there that is not your primary job. Your DPS is the one who is meant to sit there and just pump this damage in. So yeah, really understanding how you as a tank can make space and mitigate damage. That's a very good point there, and
and don't get me wrong, like, you should be jumping the supports.
Right.
All I'm saying is maybe waiting until you actually get the kill is staying in just a moment too long, and now your backline has been cleared out as well.
Right, exactly.
So,
yeah, being very cognizant of how your actions affect the rest of the team. Yeah, definitely. That's a great point.
So it does look like our next map will be Nepal.
Yes.
Which
Neat.
I suppose the stream has known for quite some time. They've been looking at the map pool.
Yeah, I know.
But we're going to go ahead and, point it out for you.
Yeah, we like to talk
in
about
case
what's
you're
going
only
on.
listening to the
Yeah,
stream,
exactly.
because we know how much you love the sound of our voices.
Absolutely. That's why we just keep talking.
We don't stop.
Don't stop till you get enough.
Baby. Anyway, we will be going to Nepal, which I really enjoy, mostly because of the map Sanctum. Really shakes up the meta. Things get strange
They
there.
do.
You can play a lot of different things, and all of them play a little bit different from how they would play anywhere else.
Oh, yeah,
So, you see the Orisa, you see the Roadhog, you got lots of boot potential there. You see the Lucio. We saw last week a Reaper emoting almost get thrown into the point.
And you can watch the VOD.
There's actually, it's been clipped.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because he was saved by the heel of his boot. I rewatched it, and no joke, it was actually the heel of his boot was the only thing keeping him on the point.
There was nothing saving
Scary.
him.
It was the scariest thing that we had ever witnessed while we were producing. Yeah, it was a very close call. But
he was just calmly clapping the whole time.
Right, exactly. Yeah, going in for that cheeky emote while the fight was still going on. However, he was not punished immediately there with the Lucio boop. But yeah, you'll see a Reaper, McCree, Hanzo, and then with like an Orisa, Roadhog, Ana or something on a team. So yeah, definitely Nepal brings out some very interesting plays because of the very unique map geometry that it holds. So I think Blizzard did a great job designing Nepal as a whole. So I love to see people play these maps.
That's the other thing is on Village you can start to see the Mei come out a bit.
Yeah.
We see more Reaper on Village
Yeah,
as well.
definitely.
So, and actually, while we're on the subject of Reapers, something I intended to bring up during Temple of Anubis, but is also relevant here on Nepal, is part of the reason that Reaper seems to be becoming more and more relevant is because Sombra has come back into the meta.
Ooh.
And one of the key things about Reaper is that when he gets hacked, he doesn't actually lose much of his kit. Sure, you can't Wraith.
Right.
That's it. Like, that's all you have to worry about. And while that is a very important escape, most of Reaper's value does come from just blasting away with those shotguns.
You can't hack the shotgun, Sombra. Try it. Try it.
I'd like to see her try. But, so anyway, that's why we're starting to see Reaper come back in. And don't get me wrong, I love it. I used to play a lot of Reaper, and I look forward to the chance to do so again.
And I think in that
That's because I'm an edgelord.
Hey, it's in the refrigerator. However, I'd love to touch on that same subject too, because if you have a friendly Sombra, it makes your job way easier. If that Reinhardt can't put a shield up, if that Zarya can't shield her support, if the Zenyatta can't put a Discord on you and two-shot you, it's amazingly easier for a Reaper to just go in, blast somebody, if they can't get away, if they can't heal, if they can't protect themselves, because Sombra comes in and disrupts that. So yeah, it is really interesting when characters either get reworks or they get buffs, or the meta just changes a little bit, and then you finally see like very interesting and maybe not totally seen hero combos starting to come out. So yeah, that's a fantastic point to bring up now that Reaper is coming out in the meta a little more.
Well, and again, speaking of friendly Sombra Reapers, the EMP Death Blossom
Oh, wow, I
is
bet.
a huge ult combo,
Mwah.
especially on places like second point of Temple Anubis or on these small enclosed capture points like we'll see on Village or...
Right, for King of the Hill, it's very, in the middle of that team fight, that team's already clustered there. You don't necessarily need a Graviton or an Earth Shatter to get everybody in that same spot if the spot is where everybody's at. Yeah, that's a great point, too. I didn't consider that.
Yeah, so lots of great options. I love when we get minor meta shakeups like this. Just
Oh, yeah.
some of these heroes that were a little out of favor are just not necessarily must plays, but they have their uses, and you see that's the great thing about this game is the compositional swaps. When you see a team realize this isn't working, what can we do to fix it? And sometimes the answer isn't we play goats. Sometimes the answer isn't, as in the past, we play Genji Tracer Die.
Oh, God,
Sometimes
right,
you have to think of something a little more creative, something that
Yeah.
actually directly counters the enemy team. So really glad to start seeing that, and I hope they continue to shake things up because, I mean, while I would like something fairly stable, you want it to get to a point where more and more characters are viable.
And I think that's an excellent point just on how Overwatch works itself. I think that if this game were to have like a perfectly balanced hero pool, I don't know that it would be as fun. Because, you're always going to see the same exact comps trying to counter the same exact comps. And, when you have meta shakeups, you see the game kind of respond as a whole, really forming itself around these new changes and these new like you were saying, these new tactics, these new ideas, these new ideologies in how you're going to play these characters and how you're going to utilize them. So some excellent things we're going to see here. Nepal, really a home for these very odd, weird, wacky team comps. So we'll let the teams do the talking here, though, with these team comps on Nepal. I believe we're just about ready to go here.
Yeah, and it does look like we did have some swaps. We've got Blue in for Cornish on that, most likely on the support role. Sometimes you don't know with these teams.
Yeah.
They like doing some role swapping.
They do.
So it does look like the teams are ready, and
Perfect.
we will be getting going here very shortly. Which I'm excited. I'm excited to see what stage we start out on. I hope we play all 3 stages, to be honest, because then I have more to talk about. And
Exactly.
obviously, that's what I like.
Exactly. Everybody, put on your scarves and your mittens. We are going to Nepal. Very exciting, though. Yeah, no, I think there's something to be talked about on each part of Nepal. Like I said, I think it's got
all of these Koth maps. Every point is very different.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun to see how the teams... I mean, it's similar to other maps where your map geometry changes extensively point to point.
Right,
like
right.
A couple of our maps tonight, Rialto and Eichenwalde, you see a lot of compositional changes as you move from point to point, just like you do on these control point maps.
Yeah, no, excellent points here. So we've got Nepal rolling up now, so we are gonna take a quick peek at these teams and see what their plans are for this this first part of Nepal.
Absolutely. In the meantime, as we were saying, this is a map where we do see a good bit of Mei on occasion, and actually, in more recent times, I've been seeing a good chunk of that Hammond.
Oh yeah,
can
right.
be quite effective. So, I hope we continue to see some of that. And it does look like our teams are going to be ready to come out here shortly. I don't think we're going to see the symmetry.
And unfortunately, Bomber is probably also trolling, and we may not see the Torbjorn.
But, that's okay. They probably wouldn't have gone
That's
so great.
okay. Yeah, I don't know that this is the
Look, as
the
much as
best.
I love all
I don't know.
heroes being viable, they aren't right now, so let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah, no, that's completely fair.
But it does look like we will have Furious Unicorns coming out with the Lucio Moira, and then a triple tank composition, but swapping the Reaper in for what would be a Brigida in your classic Goats comps. On the other side, we're going to have Bobby Smiles on the Tracer, something we really don't see a lot.
Yeah, so both teams just meeting here on point now. We've got a bit of a tank battle going on. Bobby Smiles trying to get on this backline and maybe get some damage in, be an annoyance, cause a distraction, and then, get out of there. The thing that Tracer excels at the most. But the shield battle rages on here on point while these tanks are trying to, you know, keep these DPS at bay, you know, off their supports, trying to keep themselves up. But Leoxicon doing some work here, and Furious Unicorns takes the point in the midst of this fight, even though Rinse and Shine still has some members up. But Leoxicon really doing work there in making that space for his team.
Yeah, it looked like, unfortunately, Blue on the Reaper did a little bit better job of, you know, harassing the backline than Bobby Smiles was doing, because we saw Rinse and Shine starting to take the space, starting to get onto that point, but Blue got behind and they had to back off, and it gave Leoxicon the space to get those couple of kicks.
Right, yeah, a lot of harassment from him. So Blue takes out Lumbo in the middle of all this, but the beat drop does come out on the side of Furious Unicorns in the middle of this fight. Diva Bomb as well is thrown on a point by Phoenix. However, she goes down before she can get remech. Oh, and a nice hook there from Vic7 gets Bomber. So Rinse and Shine again gets pushed back in the middle of this team fight, and we're at 50% now for Furious Unicorns.
Yeah, and I'm not really sure about that D-ult coming out from Phoenix.
Yeah.
I was hoping he was going to make a swap, but it doesn't look like he did.
Right.
So, that was kind of just a waste there. Bobby Smiles will be building up this pulse bomb shortly, but he gets taken out early by Blue off to the side of the map there.
Yeah.
And now I think Rinse and Shine may need to make some swaps if they want to push up into this composition.
Yeah, they are having a bit of a difficult time here. You know, they see Furious Unicorns posted up on point, and Rinse and Shine, I mean, just they do need to make something happen here. They do need to find some sort of weakness to exploit, some sort of you know, positioning that will give them a more of an advantage. However, while we're talking about this, Bobby Smiles does take down Fludio with that Tracer Bomb, so we'll see if that helps them in this re-engage. They've got 92% on point, so Rinse and Shine does need to make this this fight count. And while I'm saying that, Lumbo comes out with the barrage, taking out Vic7, and one by one, Rinse and Shine is finally taking down Furious Unicorns and flips this point.
Yeah, and the key there was Paper Monk getting most of a block onto the Earth Shatter from Leoxicon, and then just kind of slapping him around with that hammer kept his charge from landing onto Bomber, who was laying on the ground.
Perfect. Yeah, I didn't even notice that. So, you know, good moves there. If you're Ryan v. Ryan, you gotta block that shatter if you know it's coming. So, mistook from Vic7, but they are just gonna run straight to point Furious Unicorns. They pop that Coalescence early in this team fight to keep these tanks up while they make an aggressive push. The Death Blossom comes out! It's a quad kill! Quad kill from Blue comes out of the Death Blossom! Bobby Smiles returns the favor with the Tracer Bomb, but it's too late. The Diva Bomb comes out on point, but Leoxicon's got that shield. Overtime now for Furious Unicorns, and it looks like they are good to go in this first part of Nepal.
Yeah, and unfortunately, what the issue was there for Rinse and Shine is that Furious Unicorns just had a much more brawly comp and were able to keep the fight on point and out-damage them and out-heal them while they were there. Meanwhile, Rinse and Shine had things like the Tracer. Not enough of a health pool. She does put down a lot of damage, but it's just, you know, not as focused as some other heroes could be. They also...
And not as long range.
Well, exactly. And if you're that squishy, you can't get into that brawl. You have to stay on the outskirts, and that makes it difficult to put down the damage you need to. I believe they also had Lumbo on the Pharah, who just isn't a brawly character. Another one that needs to stay on the outskirts and try to put down damage.
Exactly.
So, but now, Furious Unicorns, more of a dive here. They've got Blue on the Tracer as well, so we'll see how this Tracer battle actually.
Yeah, we don't see a lot of Tracer in this tournament, so it's kind of nice to see her coming out here in Nepal. So, both teams meeting up on point, you know, kind of trading some damage back and forth, getting these shields worn down a bit, but nothing major happening at the moment in the first few seconds of this fight. However, Lumbo landing a nice rocket on Blue gets the Tracer on Furious Unicorns out of the fight for now. As well, Draco Ball gets Paper Monk out, Phoenix is out of mech, so Furious Unicorns really just getting this advantage on this first team fight. Big Green is able to get this res off on Phoenix in the middle of all this chaos, so Phoenix is back in the fight, but it looks like Furious Unicorns is not gonna just let them sit here and take this point. Coalescence already coming out from Exceed, taking Phoenix out of mech and getting Paper Monk down as he's getting hit by the rest of the team. That was an extremely quick Coalescence.
Yeah, but it was a long fight, so lots of damage and healing to be done.
That's very true,
We've
right.
got a couple of ultimates on both sides. Big 7 will have this EMP. It's going to be probably all they need to stop this next push. Because there's really nothing that can be done to prevent it on the side of Rinse and Shine.
Right.
Bomber, very vulnerable to it, but he's staying away from his team. He may rush in after this EMP pops out.
Right, yeah, he is actually up on that high ground by himself, which is a little dangerous considering the Furious Unicorns composition. Blue gets Big Green and Bobby Smiles out of the game for now, so really giving themselves that team advantage with a quick double kill. They're fighting a 5v4 right now, if I'm not mistaken. Looks like a 5v3 even. Draco Vault taken down Paper Monk in the middle of that fight. Paper Monk actually switches from Winston on over to that Reinhardt. Phoenix is getting respawned right now for Rinse and Shine.
Yeah, and this looks like a completely different Furious Unicorns team from what we saw on Temple of Anubis. They made one player swap, but actually a lot of role swaps. We've got Exceed from the off-tank onto the support role, and Draco Ball taking over the off-tank, and there's a Tracer Ball.
Yep, right onto Bobby Smiles with the swap on over to Brigitte. In the middle of this fight, though, Draco Ball takes down Big Green. So Rinse and Shine has lost 2 of their 3 supports. Lumbo goes down as well on the Pharah, even though he's able to take down Blue. So Furious Unicorns, again, holding this team advantage in the midst of these fights. They may lose 1 or 2 people, but they respond in kind with 2, 3 kills themselves. So they're really just doing the work of taking the team advantage when they have it and making sure they're aggressive.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not really sure what the goal of this composition from Rinse and Shine is. They feel kind of scattered. They've got a couple of brawlers, a long-range healer, Pharah, so...
And the EMP comes out in the backline from Vic while the Coalescence is coupled with it from Exceed. And here we go. Vic and Exceed and Leoxicon taking down 3 members of Rinse and Shine in the middle of this overtime. So, you know, Paper Monk doing his best to get some of the damage in, trying to make some space for the rest of his team. But it looks like, again, Furious Unicorns taking their team fight advantage and just really pushing as far as they can. And even though Bomber tried to get on point with the Transcendence, he gets body blocked right before overtime ends.
Yeah.
Furious Unicorns takes Nepal.
That was, I mean, easy win there for Furious Unicorns from the looks of things. Rinse and Shine just didn't seem to be able to figure out what they needed to do to counter the compositions we had coming out from Furious Unicorns. And here is a huge death loss from Blue.
Oh man!
Worth the death every time.
And Leoxicon comes in with a nice fire strike as a little bit of spice on top of that play of the game. So wow, yeah, a real quick match here on Nepal. So we're gonna get some scores updated for you guys here on these maps. But yeah, that was very different from what I was expecting. I didn't quite understand the composition choice from Rinse and Shine either. Yeah, you had, you know, Brigitte and Pharah and Reinhardt switch from Winston. It was just, it seemed very scattered, like you said. It seemed like it wasn't as cohesive as we've seen Rinse and Shine play before. So a little odd.
That's exactly right. I was actually just very confusing. I'm gonna have to sit down later tonight or tomorrow
maybe
and try
we'll
to figure
review
out
the VOD
what
together.
What the goal was.
Maybe we didn't see something right off the bat.
But yeah, Furious Unicorns clearly knew exactly what they wanted to do on both of those stages. Looking really good, especially on Village. That Reaper pick from Blue.
Oh, wow. I mean...
I was going to say blew me away, but...
I mean... You could
almost stopped myself. Isn't that right, Chad? But
isn't that right, Chad?
It doesn't matter because really, really good. And as I was saying, we saw a lot of role swaps coming out there.
Yeah.
Draco Balt, who's been looking pretty good on the Widow, looking pretty good on the other DPS because, I mean, Vic 7's been playing Sombra most of this game.
Yes.
So, actually, doing a solid job on the Diva. Exceed swapping from the Diva over to the Moira
Yeah,
and
yeah.
playing some good support there. As you mentioned, building up a coalescence very quickly there in that first fight on Shrine. So
Yeah, I saw a coalescence from them almost every fight.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's a great ultimate to use, especially on those King of the Hill maps where everybody's grouped up. So no matter who you're hitting, you're doing something for your team. You're either, piling on a bit of damage, or you're keeping your team up, or you're doing both at once, which is what I enjoy about Moira's character, is that she has dual purpose that can be simultaneous. It's very fun to play her. So great to see her coming out too. I know she's been kind of sitting on the bench. In terms of support play, as far as I've seen,
well,
I guess.
she's lucky because she's a huge part of the GOATS composition.
That's true.
But outside of GOATS, you would be correct.
Right,
we don't
yeah.
see her very much.
Forgive me, right, yeah, Goats does love Moira, but a lot of other comps really would prefer a Mercy, an Ana, Lucio,
even
perhaps.
a Zenyatta, just
yeah.
because instead of doing, which he does do his own damage, but in addition, he multiplies the damage of the rest of your team, which,
yes.
Especially for burning down those GOATS compositions or other heavy tank compositions, that can be very important.
That's a great point. Yeah, no, that Discord is very very effective when you're trying to burn through all that armor, shields. When these characters have 500-600 health, that Discord helps you to make shorter work of these tanks who are trying to stay on point, or stay on this payload as long as possible to soak up this damage for their team. So tearing them apart, melting through them with that Discord, very important for a Zenyatta player to be efficient at.
You're absolutely right, and it looks like we're going to be moving on to Eichenwalde here shortly. Eichenwalde, as I was alluded to previously, another one of those maps where each section of the map, each checkpoint requires a different team composition to some extent. First point, you see a lot of Reinhardt, good amount of Zarya, because if it takes you more than a couple of pushes to get in there, you're going to have that Graviton, and that'll usually do it. Also viable, we saw a little bit in, I believe, Overwatch League was a Orisa attack where you just kind of slowly push forward with that shield, but with a lot of these spam comps we get now,
Right, I see.
less effective. But
Yeah.
you move on to second point. You have all this high ground on that castle, and you start to want some of those dive tanks to be able to control that space, get the enemy DPS off of there, and then you push through there and you go into third point, you might as well be on King's Row because it's Ryan Zarya time.
Exactly,
again.
yeah, no, in that enclosed castle space, you can still try to use characters like Pharah, and some other more mobile heroes, but yeah, definitely you want those more static main tanks who can soak up the damage and protect in, smaller areas, especially since it's just not wide open. It kind of closes off some other gameplay, so... very excited to see what's going to come out here. You do see a lot more snipers on that second point, or that second section. You'll even see Genji come out too on that second section, since he's so adept at climbing all these walls, getting around, very quickly, pretty easily. So you'll see some people pull him out, just for that kind of ease of movement.
Yeah, one of the characters we actually see kind of bridge the gap between first and second point a lot of times is the Pharah. And we've seen Lumbo be very good on it so far, so I would not be surprised if we see Rinse and Shine break out the Pharah here. And then, in addition, I'm excited to see the imminent Reinhardt battle between Leoxicon and... whoa, I just lost it. Did we lose our... Yeah, Paper Monk.
Oh, I was going to say.
Actually swapped out here. So,
with
swapped
Bobby?
out for... No? Must have been... Is it Big Green? I think it's Big Green
Oh.
coming in.
Yeah, maybe.
Possibly in the main tank position. As we have said, we see a lot of role swapping.
We do see the
here.
role swapping, yeah, because
So-
Big Green's been on Mercy, I believe. Mercy and I think one other support so far. So, but Big Green could absolutely also be a Reinhardt main.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going for here, because based on this composition, they've got an off-tank, 3 DPS, and 2 healers. So we'll see who's playing what when we do eventually get into this game.
Oh yeah, they always like to throw us for a loop regardless of what their normal roles are.
That's right. And on the other side, they are going to be sticking with blue in, so I imagine we will continue to see Exceed playing the support and Draco Bolt there on the off-tank role. Hopefully. He's adept at Zarya.
Yeah. And I think Vic may pull out Sombra again. First and third sections of Eichenwalde, as far as I am aware, pretty good for Sombra. You'll have the team, the defending team, posted up on that first point. They'll usually head back to the actual payload itself to defend the Koth part. The capture point, and then that third section where it's harder for the enemy team to split up since it's less open. You might see more of that EMP business coming out, really trying to get everybody together, deny them their abilities, and really just make a single push. So we might see Vic pulling out some Sombra or something else here.
You're absolutely right, but it does look like we are going to hop straight in any second now. And we will take these couple of seconds to give a big thank you to our refs who have been really helping us out all season.
Yeah.
Setting up these games, getting the teams in here, getting us in here.
Yeah.
Because Lord knows neither you or I could figure it out. But they are really facilitating this entire tournament, and we appreciate them for it. So if you happen to be listening, refs, big thank you to you and all the refs across the league. Thanks for all the hard work you've put in so far, and I hope you help us have a great time in the playoffs.
Yeah, you make our jobs possible and also easier. So thank you guys. Yeah, definitely excited for playoffs. So hopefully we have a lot of you very efficient, lovely coaches and refs in here, just making things run smooth.
That's right. But as we launch straight in, Furious Unicorns up 2-1.
All right.
They are going to be defending first, so it looks like they're just going to troll us here for a little bit, so that's all fine and good.
Yeah. They
but
like
I
to do
believe
that.
they are going to stick with Leoxicon on the Rhine, Blue on the McCree, so
all right.
Blue, a little bit of a hit scan specialist, maybe?
Right. Yeah, maybe.
That's what it seems like. He's
Excited
the
to see it, though.
Tracer, a little bit of the
gotcha.
Reaper,
Right,
now
right.
the McCree, so.
I like to see McCree when he's here, so.
Yep, and it does appear that Draco Bolt's going to be on the zone. So
all right.
You're saying hopefully we get some good stuff from him, and Big 7 on the Junkrat is going to be very effective because there's a long sight line that the attackers have to push through on this map, and if you just continue spamming those Junkrat grenades down there, you're going to break any shields they may have.
No, great point. And not only that, but a lot of their entry points are smaller enclosed areas. You see on the left side there, he actually set up his trap right around the corner. So, even if teams try to go through that flank on the attack, Junkrat can absolutely spam you down inside the room where it's a lot harder to avoid all those grenades and mines. So, Rinse and Shine just swinging around through main and left now. So they're just on point, pushing Furious Unicorns back. So we've got the attack coming out. Cyberspace on Doomfist, just getting a quick kill there on Draco Bolt. Clio's response by taking out Cyberspace, but we still got this team fight going strong here. Rinse and Shine actually reses Cyberspace and takes down the Oxicon of Blue, so Rinse and Shine already up on this team fight advantage, so it looks like they're just going to keep aggressively pushing up until they can get this point. Vic 7 coming out with this Riptire, taking down three members! Vic 7 with the triple kill coming out of this defense. Defense is not dead yet. Bobby Smiles is taking a nap, but that Riptire's doing work while he's getting some snoozing going on. Wow! What a turnaround here. I thought the fight was over, but Vic 7 said not yet.
Yeah, huge Riptire there.
They lost all that momentum.
Yeah, they had that point to be captured, but unfortunately he took out 3 of them, and then we saw Exceed come in on the Ana and just kind of stall out until the rest of the team could arrive. Yeah, no, very good sleep dart on Bobby Smiles. Actually left him asleep for the duration of the sleep dart, so kept Bobby out of the fight for a good 6 seconds, which is insane in these team fights. That's a lot of time to not be doing anything for your team. So again, team speaking here right on the point. You've got a bit of a shield battle. However, Bobby Smiles gets charged down by a Leoxicon, hesitates there, and is unfortunately not the first one to charge. Big Green somehow falls off of the map, and Furious Unicorns, they clean up the fight here in the middle. Yeah, Bobby Smiles on the Rhine needs to be a little quicker on that counter charge, because that's really your only option when you see that Reinhardt coming in, especially at that close range. You have to submit to the stun yourself,
Yep.
because otherwise your team is just completely left out to dry.
Oh yeah, especially with this spam comp that Furious Unicorns has going on right now. So we've got the and the combo coming out from here. Phoenix and Bobby Smiles making this combo play with the Earth Shatter and Diva Bomb, taking out Furious Unicorns. Wow!
Unbelievable. That was textbook how you want to use those ultimates together.
Wow.
You throw the Diva Bomb over, the Reinhardt has to lower his shield because he can't let it get burned down before the Diva Bomb comes off. He has to be able to protect himself and his team. And while his shield's down, the opposing Reinhardt just gets the big shatter, and it does look like Bobby Smiles is going to go to spawn and go ahead and swap, most likely to the Winston.
Ooh, and a really nice early pick from Cyberspace. However, he's taken down in turn by Exceed. Lumbo using this Barra Barrage to try to take down Flutio's. It does work, however, Exceed keeps coming back for revenge and taking down the members of Earth and Shine who are killing his teammates. So we are at some even team fights, but quite a few ultimates coming out. We've got the beat drop from Bomber. Big Green uses that Valkyrie in the middle of this team fight to take down Vic, who's on Widow. There's a lot happening right now, and not a lot of it makes sense. But Leoxicon is able to charge down Cyberspace. And we've got the beat drop from Flutio's coming out on the defense. And, I mean, so we got a lot of swaps. Blue's on Tracer now. Vic's now on Widow. Flutio.
Hold on to the Zarya.
They are.
You probably use that Graviton Surge, and I think the problem in that last fight was that Rinse and Shine decided to go for the engage before Bobby Smiles was done, making his hero changes and getting back to the point. So they were down their main tank, and when...
Oh, and just absolutely dirty from Blue. He waits until the Lucio isn't paying attention and just guns him down. And like we were talking about earlier, Tracer has an amazing burst potential as long as you can be accurate and up close. And I mean, look at this. Blue's coming in now, really showing us what he can do on Tracer. Coming in, disrupting this backline, getting kills while Furious Unicorns, you know, just sets up the rest of their defense. And Rinse and Shine's trying to get the attack together. Blue's coming in and disrupting that by being an annoyance, taking down some members.
Yeah, really great play by Blue, taking out both supports and then finishing off Bobby Smiles for the stagger. And we are going to get Lumbo over onto the Genji end, so I'm not sure what he's trying to do with that.
Right, not entirely certain, but we will see as this fight breaks out. So Bobby Smiles using the Primal Rage to start, you know, making some room on this payload and get Furious Unicorns off of it so they can start pushing a little bit. It looks like he does head back to his team, so now we've got a big charge coming in from the Leoxicon. I don't know if he's able to take anybody out. However, it looks like Bobby Smiles is kind of caught out here by himself, but Lumbo helps him out a little bit. However, Bobby Smiles does eventually fall to the pressure of this defense. So we've got Rinse and Shine pushing the cart a little bit here. Baby Diva trying to make some progress, however. Blue's able to gun down Cyberspace. Draco Ball taking down Lumbo and Phoenix. So this defense is looking like it's pretty consistent. This payload's moved quite a bit from the last point we saw it at, but it has been stopped. It's here, not even on this bridge part yet, so...
And Rinse and Shine made a bunch of swaps. They're just now starting to get their new ultimates online.
They have 40 seconds, however, so I don't know exactly how this is going to play out. Furious Unicorns and Rinse and Shine going to be just about matched on the number of ultimates they're going to have here for what I assume will be this last team fight.
But this Graviton Bomb is going to be the killer. Big 7 gets the first pick on the Cyberspace.
Wins that Widow duel, absolutely. So we'll see if Furious Unicorns maybe gets a little aggressive with this and takes advantage of that pick. So we've got the beat drop on the side of Furious Unicorns coming out while these tanks start to engage with each other here on point. Diva Bomb from Phoenix comes out, takes down Draco Ball and Exceed. Lumbo taking down Vic himself, so Rinse and Shine says, this is our last fight, we're going to make it count. This Earth Shatter, however, from the Oxyconn takes down a few members. Lumbo on point now with this, no! And he tries to climb, and the wall climb does not connect. He's down for the last bit of this fight. We're in overtime. Furious Unicorns trying to keep Rinse and Shine off the point, but it looks like only a few members are left, and we've got Boostio alive and well in this meta. big Graviton coming out here now, keeping a big part of Rinse and Shine off the point, but Furious Unicorns, I mean, just cleaning up here. But we've got the big Dragon Blade from Lumbo. We'll see if it kills anybody. We've got the overtime still running. Fludio O's does fall to the Dragon Blade, and he does his best, Lumbo, to stay on point, but he does finally die in the middle of this overtime.
And Furious Unicorns held on to that Graviton Pulse Bomb combo for so long. But it does look like they pulled it out when they finally needed it.
Wow.
So that's what matters. Unfortunately, Lumbo just missed that wall climb.
Barely.
Otherwise, there was a pretty good chance of him getting into that fight and helping his team turn it around.
I did see him looking for that Dragon Blade. Yeah, I think he definitely was going to dip out, climb up the wall, and come back, you know, but that's rough.
Yeah.
That's some rough goes.
Unluckers.
Unluckers. So we're going to swap the attack and defense here now. Rinse and Shine kind of giving us a little preview of what may or may not be their actual attack composition and I'm sorry, defense composition, forgive me. But yeah, we see obviously Reinhardt coming out, which would be on this first point. Diva as well, which Phoenix has been doing quite a bit of work on Diva.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Some really big Diva bombs. The one that opened up the fight onto that first point.
Yes.
For starters,
yeah,
not
for
to mention
starters.
plenty of others throughout the match we've seen
Right,
tonight.
yeah.
But we are going to have Lumbo on the McCree, Cyberspace on the Genji, so hopefully going to be effective with that while we've got the Mercy and Zenyatta. So it does look like they're going to probably play a little bit of a similar defense, play around this watchtower corner.
Right.
Should give them plenty of space to get the damage down because Cyberspace basically just is going to want to poke until he can build up that Dragon Blade, and that will be the fight winner.
Right, and it doesn't
meanwhile, Lumbo's going to have to be the main damage source for his team here.
Right, and we'll see how that plays out with Furious Unicorns running what looks like a fairly standard dive comp with a Sombra thrown in there. So they are going to try to immediately, looks like, disrupt this back line, distract anybody who's trying to keep an eye on these flanks. So just a bit of a shield poke game out front. These tanks kind of beating the other tanks out here towards point. You know, Vic trying to cause some disruption as well as we got Draco Ball on this high ground getting gunned down by Lumbo. And Lumbo really outputting this damage since he is the main source of DPS, like you were saying. Looks like he is doing his job well here. The Oxyconn eventually falls to him and that Discord, I presume. Phoenix falls on point as well. So we've got Rinse and Shine coming out with a steady defense. They're getting these kills slowly but surely, but that's great for them since it allows them to, oh, forgive me, both of their supports are down now to a bit of a backline disruption here. And Furious Unicorns making their plays, getting these other key picks here, and Draco Ball cleaning up now on the Diva. However, they get countered by the Earthshatter, but Bobby Smiles falls before any other damage can really come out from it. So Furious Unicorns is going to clean up and take this point in the middle of that team fight.
Yeah, they basically still had a chance right up until they let Draco Ball get back into his neck. At that point, the fight was pretty much lost.
That was not good for them. So Furious Unicorns pushing up a little bit. Fludio O's falls, so that is a bit of a stagger. They are attacking, though, and they do have the... Oh, and we've got quite a bit going on. So we've got the Deadeye from Lumbo popped, and we've got a Nanoed Winston coming out and trying to harass Rinse and Shine while he pops his Primal Rage at the very end of that Nano boost. So Lumbo now getting gunned down by Blue. However, in the final moments, he's able to come out on top of the duel. The Diva Bomb is thrown out by Draco Ball and does take down Cyberspace in the middle. So we've got these tanks coming out now trying to clean things up. To Furious Unicorns, again, slowly but surely getting these kills one by one. Wait until they have a team advantage and then pushing in. So Phoenix gets swooped off the map, and Big Green is unfortunately staggered when she makes that switch onto the Moira.
And Rinse and Shine going to be hard-pressed to get in one last good fight here, but Cyberspace gets in, pops the Dragon Blade.
And here comes the EMP Dragon Blade combo. So coming out, Cyberspace, no, is unfortunately taken down, unfortunately for them. But Furious Unicorns now cleaning up and pushing this point. Nobody's here to contest, and they've got Eichenwalde.
Yeah,
Wow.
really strong offense from Furious Unicorns, clearly something was said to them during halftime that caused them to come back with a vengeance, because those last two maps, they showed us why they are ranked second in the division right now.
Yeah. So here we go. Here was this combo that we were talking about early on with this Earth-Shatter Diva Bomb. And I mean, you know, we saw it from the Reinhardt's perspective, but I mean, a great timing there. They had to have been talking to each other, saying, hey, look, we've got this. We both got ult. Let's pop them at the same time, and we'll just clean up whatever's left. And that's exactly what they did, and that's what got them that first point.
Yeah, really well executed. Unfortunate that they were unable to continue to push through there, but I mean, they had some really great moments, Rinse and Shine did. We're seeing that they do have the coordination needed, and that's really what a lot of it comes down to here in these leagues.
Right, yeah, and that does come from a lot of the tournament play, and I think that even if, you know, that consistency may not be as high as possible, it is good to see that these players are really experiencing something that not a lot of people get to in terms of gameplay. They get into this tournament setting, and they get to actually, you know, play these matches against you know, teams that are on the same level as them. They get in a more professional setting, and it hones them, I think, faster than just regular competitive play, since they are a team that knows how to communicate, they know how to talk to each other, and they know how to initiate things, and, you know, they have coaches, you know, molding them into these teams that can work together
And
well.
I think that's the big thing that this tournament is offering, is a coach for every team, because you really need an outside perspective, somebody with a little bit of authority to explain to you where your weaknesses are and what individually you need to work on, as well as where your communication breakdowns are, where your issues in coordination are as well. And we've seen these teams get so much better.
Right.
So much better. These are two of the first teams I think we casted probably in stage one. Maybe not against each other, but both of them very early.
We did,
and
yeah.
The difference in play from that point to today, unreal.
Yeah, it's great. And I think we've talked about it, like, early on. You know, I said I'd love to see how these teams improve and how they begin to build, you know, upon the fundamentals that they clearly had, you know, an understanding of. So, yeah, it's great to see them, you know, come out better than they did, you know, just, what, 2 months ago? I mean, it hasn't been going on for very long, but yeah, we're seeing fantastic improvements just, you know, as a whole from these teams. So it's really exciting to see that.
Yeah, and not to mention a large number of players in the league graduating to
graduating.
Diamond, and enough that we're gonna, next season, it sounds like we're likely gonna have a Diamond and above league as well.
Gotcha.
So really great. I'm so happy to have been a part of this for the last however many weeks.
Right, I agree. Yeah.
Because I love seeing these players improving, these teams improving, and I mean, not to mention our huge breadth of casters have been doing really great.
Wow,
I mean, this has been a huge help to me. I know you have been getting better along with me, and a lot of the other casters have been improving both in the casting and production side of things. The Owlet League has just been a great breeding ground for talent all over the spectrum of Overwatch and esports in general.
Yeah, so, you know, thank you to everybody, again, who's made this tournament possible, and we're so happy to continue to be here as casters, you know, to provide that role that we can play here. So I'd love to see, you know, more of this play going on. Playoffs are coming out very soon. Everybody be very excited. What days are those, Suds?
That will be the weekend, I believe Friday, Saturday, Sunday of the 28th, 9th, and 30th of this month. So a week from this Friday, the playoffs begin, and it's going to be hype, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
It's going to be big time.
We are very excited. You're going to see teams of fantastic quality playing against each other, going for the gold, trying to get the crown here. So I'm excited. I hope you guys are very excited here too. And I had a great time casting this match today. These two teams were fantastic to watch work together. So.
Absolutely. Look forward to seeing you all again soon. One last time, this has been Stage 4, Week 3. Rinse and Shine versus Furious Unicorns. Unicorns take it 3-1. I've
Yeah.
been SudsNBubbles. This is Avi.
And I'm currently Avi, and I believe he is still SudsNBubbles.
And nope, I changed.
Oh.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Change that. Edit it.